The year was 2014. Leafs Nation was a desolate landscape. Years of disappointment had turned hope into cynicism. Then, a glimmer of light. Brendan Shanahan, a name that resonated power, respect, a history of winning. He arrived with a plan, a vision. The Shannaplan, they called it. It promised a complete rebuild. It promised a commitment to drafting and development. Most importantly, it promised a Stanley Cup. Could this be the answer? The end to the decades-long drought? Leafs fans dared to dream again. The city was buzzing with a cautious optimism. Shanahan, a Toronto boy himself, understood the gravity of the task at hand. He spoke of patience, of building a foundation. He vowed to change the culture of losing that had permeated the organization. He wanted players who wore the blue and white with pride, who understood the legacy they carried on their backs. A new era was dawning in Toronto, but would it be one of glory or more of the same old heartache? Shanahan didn't mince words. He knew what the fans craved, what they demanded. "We want to win the Stanley Cup," he declared. These weren't empty words. This was a promise etched in steel, a vow to restore the Leafs to their former glory. He understood the weight of history, the burden of expectation. The Leafs were a franchise steeped in tradition, with a fan base that stretched across generations. Anything less than Lord Stanley's Cup would be considered a failure. The pressure was immense, the media scrutiny relentless. Every move Shanahan made would be analyzed, dissected, and debated ad nauseum. He embraced the challenge, the weight of an entire city on his shoulders. He knew the stakes, he knew the consequences, he was determined to deliver. The Shannaplan began in earnest. Out with the old, in with the new. Gone were the days of quick fixes and aging veterans. Shanahan tore it all down, hitting the reset button. He brought in Mike Babcock, a coach known for his demanding style and championship pedigree. He drafted Auston Matthews, a generational talent destined to wear the C. He traded for Frederik Andersen, a goaltender with the potential to steal games. The roster began to take shape. Young, skilled, hungry. Mitch Marner, William Nylander, Morgan Riley. Names that sparked excitement, that hinted at a brighter future. Shanahan wasn't afraid to make the tough decisions. He bought out the contracts of veterans like Phil Kessel and Dion Phaneuf, sacrificing short-term gains for long-term stability. He added John Tavares, a hometown boy returning to lead the team to the promised land. The pieces were in place. But would they fit? Section 4, Heartbreak Hotel, years of disappointment on the ice. The regular season became a familiar story. The Leafs were an offensive juggernaut, lighting up scoreboards with their high-octane attack. Matthews blossomed into a superstar, scoring goals at a record pace. Marner dazzled with his playmaking abilities. Tavares provided veteran leadership and a scoring touch. Yet, year after year, the playoffs brought the same familiar heartbreak. First-round exits, disappointing performances, the weight of expectation proved too heavy. The questions began to surface. Was Shanahan's plan flawed? Had he built a team that was incapable of winning when it mattered most? The whispers grew louder with each passing year. The Shannaplan became a source of derision for some, a symbol of unfulfilled potential. The pressure mounted. The clock was ticking. Section 5, the Shanabots versus the Shanadoubters, a city divided. Leafs Nation found itself divided. On one side, the Shanabots, staunch defenders of the plan, pointing to the team's regular season success and the abundance of young talent. They argued for patience, for faith in the process. On the other side, the Shanadoubters, frustrated by the lack of playoff success, questioning Shanahan's decisions, particularly his loyalty to certain players. The debate raged on talk radio, on social media, in bars and living rooms across the city. Had Shanahan done enough to deserve more time, or had he had his chance? The arguments were passionate, the emotions raw. The city of Toronto was on edge. Section 6. The final whistle. Is it time for Shanahan to go? So here we are, another year, another playoff disappointment. The questions linger. The doubts persist. Brendan Shanahan's legacy in Toronto hangs in the balance. Has he done enough to earn another shot? Or is it time for a change, a fresh voice, a new direction? The decision rests with the Leafs' ownership. They have a monumental choice to make, one that will shape the future of the franchise for years to come. What will it be? Will the Shannaplan continue? Or will this be the end of the line for a man who arrived with so much promise, only to be met with the same old heartache? Only time will tell.